Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2. Let me introduce. Needs no introduction, but let me justify my presence here. Let me introduce, in the top left, in the blue, the final boss. It's Dark. And on the other side of the map, Big Gamers 8 $400,000 finalist, the People's Terran representing the rest of us. It's Cure. A best of 5 TVZ finals here. And a matchup we've seen before, and a matchup I'm sure very much so we'll see again. But a clash of styles. Madness versus macro. Mechanics versus mania. A Terran versus Zerg that is sure to be quite divisive. But one thing I hope isn't, is asking for likes and subscribes. Thank you for being here. Hopefully this game and this series will make your day a little bit better. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,113 likes. And I'll cast another series. I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for tuning in once again. Starting off Cure with the 3 Reapers and Dark with the 3 base. So we've seen this one before. How it'll play out. Dark has favored that Roach Ravager style. Well, probably more than anyone else. Just to be clear, this isn't on the new proposed balance patch, though I'm looking forward to seeing some games on that soon. And when you're watching this in 10 years or 3 years, when I have 10 million subscribers, you're just going to have to go... Cure. Okay, so Cure lost one of his Reapers to Slowlings, almost loses the other to Queens. Not an ideal start for the Korean Terran, but a start nonetheless. Dark just kind of mind-tricked that Reaper into coming a little too close to royalty. And got put down by the Royal Guard, the Slowlings. The 3 Reaper build does kind of depend on that incredibly active Reaper micro. Giving you the map control that only units like the Reaper can provide. The maneuverability, the just constant... Oh my god, the Queen flank. But here just kind of wanders out of it. The Queen's tried maybe a little too hard to get in the position to flank. But speed is done. Dark trying to chase him down. It looks like an Overlord scouted the 3rd barracks in the main of Cure. So it's going to be Marines and then also Marines. And get this, a follow-up into Marines. A very... never before... a very expected but not incompetent strategy out of Cure. Even Dark has to respect the Marines. He gets a Baneling nest immediately. Yeah, I can't blame him for that one. As that is actually the entire strat, is going to be a Marine timing. Not a Marine medevac, not Marine Marauder. He has those 2 Reapers left over, but just a bunch of Marines. Third command center now on the way. Cure did not have a 3rd behind this, so he has to do some damage, even if the damage is just limiting the drone count dramatically. Honestly, at this point, Dark has made so many Zerglings. Now, Cure can't know that yet, but he pre-stims. Dark knows this was coming. There are no Banelings, but are there enough Zerglings? He gets a few of the drones, trying to chase down the Queens. Gets himself jammed in between the hatchery. If he actually gets the hatchery, that's a huge deal. But a second stim will soften up the Marines a little bit more. Another group of Zerglings getting caught behind the Queens, but eventually he bounces the rest with a grenade, and the Zerglings clean him up. But overall, Dark, he cut a lot of his drone count down because, oh my god, is the Queen stuck? Okay, the Queen was kind of like jammed up against the corner there, but he cut his drone count in order to make these Zerglings. You have to, Larva has so many options in life, but it can only become one thing. So, in this case, the counterattack. A big Baneling bust out of Dark. As, this Marine saw it. He's like, okay, wait a second. That's slow Banes here as they'll waddle their way in. There's nothing but Marines. He pre-stims. Dark just busting his way through. Forget about it. Almost kills the barracks. The add-ons are no match. The Marines in the corner here. Only 6 SCVs so far, but more Banelings are making their way downtown, walking fast and blowing up in the SCVs' faces. 19 SCVs so far, 2 more banelings. Oof, almost finishes them. The barracks actually survives. 19 SCVs down as Dark's vengeful baneling bust does not achieve maybe everything he set out to do besides angering Cure and making him feel very uncomfortable. Honestly, slow banelings, not the most effective units, but when you're that close to the mineral line, well, and it appears Dark now, well, he had enough Zerglings behind that he can keep control of the map here, at least until the medevacs come out. We do have a Roach Warren on the way, Lair as well, notably Dark with no evolution chambers, no up, well, he's noting that as well, starts 2. He has no upgrades, so despite doing some damage to Cure, he is going to have to cede map control to the medevacs, as he has no way to easily deal with them, or really deal with them at all besides deflecting them with the queens. And Cure, understanding that, will pick up into the medevacs and head towards Dark's side of the map. Cure only 41 SCVs. Dark up to 62 drones. He started pumping them out as the baneling bust concluded, somewhat indecisively. Medevacs, he knows Dark spotted it, or at least suspected it. The Overlord taken out, gonna make spotting it in the future a little bit harder. 1-1 on the way for Dark, but it's a ranged attack as opposed to going for melee. So preferring to go for the Roach Ravager composition rather than the Ling Bane here. Will we see Infestors at a relatively early timing? Or is he just going to try to bludgeon him? 70 drones. Cure, if you're not careful, it'll get away from you. As Dark has a tendency, well, when he attacks, he attacks. When he greeds, he greeds. I know, profound, but the meaning behind the words. He doesn't half-ass it. He full-asses one thing. And in this case, it's making sure his drone count is shored up. Even if he loses some trades here, he now has the economy to follow it up. So if Cure is not able to get some damage done in the next minute or so, Dark is going to be at full throttle here. Fully recovered, both in upgrades and in economy, from committing to the baneling bust. And right now, Cure, with his trademark production, doesn't look like he's going to try to press the issue, but instead, continue building up Marines and tanks. And, I mean, he does it better than anyone else. There's a reason he was the finalist at the Gamers 8 tournament. There's a reason that he's continually underestimated by the very best players. A lot of flashy Terrans out there focus on the micro, but Cure is truly the champion of macro. Medevacs will pick up the Marines. Just a few too many Roaches and Ravagers to deal with right now. 1-1 upgrades for both sides without the +2 begun for either one. Double medevac drop pushed back in towards the main. The Zerglings on a dramatic and almost hard to look at patrol there. The Marines gonna have a tough time as well, but they're cleaving through the front. Ravager's never going to finish morphing. Dark is maxed out, but his supply is just partitioned poorly at the moment, as the Marines are able to pick out a battle that they could definitely win. That changes, though. Roaches and Zerglings coming down. Cure drops right back out after picking up, just keeping the Roaches tied back at home. Dark clearly does not want that to continue. He already sends many of his units across the map. It's 132 to 82 army supply. But Cure has a defensive position, a bulwark of depots and siege tanks here. Siege tanks jammed in by a factory itself, but the corrosive biles are easily able to pick them apart. Every single siege tank goes down in the first volley. Okay, he's got one on the high ground, but a massive counter drop. Here comes Cure on the other side. He's taken out the third, and he's looking for more, as Dark is very heavily committed on the other side of the map. His reinforcements are trickling out of the hatcheries. The Marines have enough DPS to gun him down, and now he's coming through a choke point here. The real damage is happening on the other side. The drones are pulled to help buffer for the Roaches, but the Marines stand their ground. The medevacs are healing enough. 31 drones down alongside 35 SCVs, and the damage is mounting. I think so far Cure's actually gotten the better end of this, as Roach Ravager is not an army composition for efficient long-term trades. It's an army composition for breaking down your opponent's door and ripping everyone out of their house and murdering them in the street. But past that, it doesn't have a lot of longevity. If they're allowed to sit back, it becomes a standoff. Those Marines and medevacs are going to have a particularly good time. And right now, Cure is going for 2-2, whereas Dark has not touched his upgrade since the 1-1. The Roach Ravager still, he has the army supply lead. Only a couple medevacs back at home. He's still got the base trading ones, though, killing some of the Overlords, Corrosive Biles, sniping off the SCVs. The Marine count is thinned out, but still a couple siege tanks on the back line. Marines trying to cover for now. Another volley of Corrosive Bile. Down goes a tank. Are there any more? Another one pops out of the factory, but Dark is in the main. Dark still losing at home. Kier not really microing his counterattack, trying to keep whatever he can at home here. But another siege tank goes down, and the Roaches and Ravagers are ransacking the main base. Kier still, he has a critical mass of Marines, and Dark no longer has the ability. There's 2 SCVs left. It's terrible. Terrible damage on both sides, but 2-2 will complete. Kier has the army composition to potentially win the base trade. He has orbitals for mules. He has the tools here, but Dark seems to keep ripping him out of his hands. Another one, another Ravager taken out. There's only 4 units left, where once there were dozens. The last drones are pulled off the line. 1 SCV remaining, and 14 drones. But it isn't over. Dark is base trading a Terran. Oh my god, Cure. Cure knows about the base in the bottom left. Dark is still in the main. He's still trying to kill the production. And he's still kind of succeeding, but 1 medevac. You know, the fact that we're microing 1 Marine against 2 Roaches. Dark is coming across with the rest of it. Cure has 0 SCVs. Oh my god, this is the most Cure game I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of Cure games. Somehow he managed to lose every single SCV, which means if he loses too much, well, he doesn't have enough supply. He won't be supply blocked because his orbitals will provide it. All right, here we go again. If you remember the game from earlier this year, the game of the year, of many, but one of the best. Well, they're all the best. Anyways, where Cure essentially started from nothing about 3 times against Dark. Dark eventually won that one. This one, I think Cure has an well, we're playing Nomad mode now. Here we go. I have no idea. Cure may manage to grasp defeat from the jaws of it. Honestly, somehow Dark held on to his main. It looks like Cure is going to have to play Nomadic Terran, which they're best suited to it. He has 0 SCVs, but he does have mules. He's building an SCV. He still has supply for now. Zerglings find 1 set. There's still an orbital in the main. Dark's army is 20 Roaches and 4 Zerglings. 15 drones mining from his main base, which is mining out, by the way. He's getting Burrow, which I think is an absolute genius move against someone who's desperately hurting for minerals and orbitals. Burrow may actually be a game changer. Well, everything's a game changer at this point, but like... What? Well, a Liberator on the way. It's 2-2 on the Marines. How many Marines are left? 14 Marines. I still think Cure has a winning position. But Dark doesn't care what anyone thinks. So... yeah, he's still scouring the map. He could burrow underneath orbitals and actually prevent them from landing in a realistic fashion. There's not that much energy to go around. He gets back into the main. Cure has risen from 0 income to marginally more. The incomes are, well, actually Cure has 1,000 income. Mules. Okay, here are the roaches. He has burrow done. There's no energy. There's no... 2 of his orbitals are lifted. Once the burrow is revealed, though, I'm surprised he's not using it here. He's going to lose 2-3 roaches. There's actually no ability to counter the burrow at the moment. Not that he has burrow move. If he had burrow move, now that'd be a different story. I wonder if Dark will save up for it. He's building... He's re-expanded to his natural. He's burrowing at all the potential bases. And that will give away the burrow, but this is probably the best use of it. Making sure he can limit one way or another. There's a siege tank building in the corner. We're now to the technical situation. A medevac scouting, because I guess 7 medevacs for 14 Marines. What are you going to do, right? That's a very clear indicator, is having that many medevacs for that many Marines. If you had to cover up the player names and see that situation, right? Alright, does Dark have enough roaches? He's got a few Ravagers, but between the siege tanks and Liberators... Orbitals struggling to find anywhere to land. Not the ideal location to base your base around. That's quite a... Oh my god, if he kills the orbital. He's not going to kill the orbital. He can't do anything about the medevac. Well, I mean, technically, but it's Dark. There's always a caveat. Well. Uh-huh. You're gonna hear a lot of that in this series, I bet. Oh my god. Here, with a casual sidestep of the corrosive bow. More Ravagers coming in behind, though. Goes for the Liberator. He had said nothing. More Roach is gonna go down. Dark is working with 1-1 Roach Ravager. He can't really let Cure find his footing here. I mean, that's been true for most of this game. He gets one of the siege tanks. 5 Marines, though, with a medevacs for all policy. The medevac can only heal so fast. Well, the orbital under fire. Liberator's taking a lot of damage. Cure! Well, the siege... here we go again! At some point, they'll be fighting with just like a Roach versus 4 SCVs. We're almost there already. Cure taps it out. Dark! In a convoluted... Ah, yes. Dark, the Lord of Chaos, throws the game into madness and comes out the victor. Cure had better upgrades. I'd argue a better army composition. He had flying buildings and mules. Yet Dark somehow, when you drag it into such a chaotic situation, well, who do you think is going to have the advantage? Oh my. Game 1. How do you follow that one up? Well, Cure's actually one of the best players at not tilting. All right, he's so consistent. Dark tilts. I've seen Dark just like lose a match and decide. Well, sometimes it works in his favor, but then he'll just proxy hatch and fail twice in a row or something. But Cure, I don't think that's gonna affect him much. He's almost aggressively standard, which is sometimes a little boring, but that's why he's the people's Terran. All right, most people are pretty boring. Sorry. Game 2, Ancient Sister. So, we're playing the macro maps today. I see. Oh, Jimmy, please. Jimmy. Oh my, okay. Cure. Sometimes we catch the introduction mode, which I always find a little awkward to do. Every game of a series. I don't know. What do you think? Should I be introducing who the players are every game of the series? If it's live, especially if there's an audience. Oh yeah, for sure. I think. But like here on the internets, I know you're all standing up, clapping. Oh my god, it's Cure, the people's Terran. Hello, everyone. Yes. But I do find it Maybe if it's a dramatic, like, conclusive game, but when it comes down to introducing the players, I expect that, thankfully, most of the Koreans choose simple names that most people can understand. Dark, Cure. Cure has expressed that he originally wanted to name himself Antidote, but was convinced otherwise. And it kind of shortened it to Cure, which is, do with that anecdote what you will. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Is, game one, yes. Match point, maybe. Rest of the matches, learn to read. It's like Winter, but the like button is just a thumbs up. But is subscribe? Is join? Is the info for Patreon? Is that an icon? Because I don't know how to make it an icon. I think you just have to have it in text. But I don't... Good questions. Hard answers. Reapers. How quickly it has become the new standard. I'm still not convinced. Like, it depends. Like, especially on this side of the map, where the add-ons can be picked off. I'm not in love with the Reaper build. The fact that it leaves you so vulnerable to just the frontal attack. And on the other side of the map, Dark just busted through. There's so much happened that last game. Dark just did a full-on, full-throated baneling bust. Which, maybe not using that terminology, but... Oh, wow. What a beautiful grenade. And then just kind of walked it back afterwards. It almost worked. I think another 2 or 3 good baneling connections and it would have made the difference. But that's usually true at any stage of the game, so can't really put too much stock in that. Yeah, the Zerglings being led around by the Reaper, trying to get the Creep Tumor there. A little late on the draw. Unfortunate Cure. Meandering around. The Zergling speed still about 20 seconds out. Third base already done. Dark just kind of playing it safe here. Didn't get any creep to the natural. Now noticing this. Optimistic. Overlord, gonna get a pretty close scout. Dark sees the third command center, no add-on on the starport, and a reactored factory. So that gives him most of the info. There's a small chance that's a medevac. A little more likely it's a liberator. Viking still on the table. We'll see based on where and when he puts his spore. Yeah, well, he's pretty sure that's a liberator, and he is correct. Three Reapers, 2 Hellions. No, not a TVT build, but instead the more tech-oriented follow-up. Gets a couple Creep Tumors. Dark already passing the 50 drone mark. Quickly up towards 60. Wow, he is not really respecting any potential aggression here. Lair just started. No Evo chambers yet. Roach Warren on the way. No Baneling Nest. But I expect... Actually, this might not even be Roach Baneling. This may be a straight-up Roach Ravager build. As he just has so much success. Dark, a surgeon. A surgeon. That's like calling, like someone vomiting all over a frat party a surgeon. Maybe they are a surgeon. All right, it's med school. But corrosive bile in the general direction of everything important just picks it apart. It's remarkably hard to use because the Ravager is not the most agile unit. It has a very stout posture, but Dark makes it look like one of the best units out there, despite the cost, because he's so good at just picking off the Liberator, siege tanks, even spreading out the army. A lot of the time against the Bio army, The corrosive bile is not to actually kill units, it's to force them to move. Because otherwise they're sitting there just unloading their apparently unlimited ammo rifles. And there is nothing in the game that competes with that level of DPS. So the Ravagers are there to break it up, force the micro, or punish them for a lack thereof. And that is how Roach Ravager can work, especially against Cure, who doesn't have the pixel-perfect marine splits that break the wrists of some other players. In fact, I think it is that kind of margin of micro that ended up hurting Cure the most at the end of that last game. Because a few more Marines, one way or another, certainly could have made the difference. One on the way. Both sides. Dark has the advantage. Got some more roaches on the way. Roach speed as well. Fourth hatchery. No macro hatch, but this is a less larva-intensive unit composition, as roaches cost 2 supply and zerglings cost 0.5. So, well, technically per larva you get 1 supply of zerglings, but still, the point stands there. It's very, it's twice as larva heavy by comparison. And that is why you see from Dark usually 2 or 3 macro hatches, just to keep up. But with Roach Ravager and 65 drones, which certainly indicates he wants to bludgeon him with 1-1 here. Kier has 2 medevacs, actually has 4 medevacs on the map. 2 of them currently killing the 4th base. Dark says, I'll take your 3rd if you take my 4th. And statistically, that's a better percentage. But we'll see if Kier can put together the defense. It's 10 more seconds until 1-1 is done, and that's 10 very important seconds right now. Throws out the corrosive bile. Pushes Kier back into his natural. Dark ignores the 3rd and is looking to batter down the door yet again. The battering ram of Roach Ravager just busting it down, forces the barracks to lift. With a siege tank on the high ground, he'll redirect towards the 3rd base, but Kier just doesn't look like he's putting anything together right now. Corrosive Bile's knocked down the token liberator. Looking for the orbital itself is potentially sniped off by Ravager range, which is a very unwieldy statement. But the orbital forced to lift. SCVs will retreat. 13 down so far. Cure still trying to battle it out, but Dark's economy is at full tilt at the moment. The medevac's starting to run out of energy. The +2 attack upgrade eliminated. The 2nd engineering bay gonna be gone as well. Siege tanks on the high ground. Is Dark not going to overcommit here? Just pushing Cure back into his base and slapping down any attempts to leave it. The 3rd base was removed. The double engineering bay being taken out. Dark already has his 2-2 on the way. But now that Cure has no engineering base, it's going to be very hard to upgrade. Oh my. The orbital didn't move, and now corrosive bile somehow dodges a handful of them. The Marines and Marauders standing their ground. More corrosive bile trying to knock down the orbital. He gets it! Even if Cure takes okay trades, without that 3rd base, they will not continue. Cure is running out of Marines, running out of Marauders. Still got that siege tank on the high ground. But Dark, he can trade 2-1 almost at this point. Oh my god, the Overseers gave high ground vision, takes out one of the tanks. Medevac's almost entirely out of energy here. Infestation pit on the way. +2 ranged attack for Dark. He's kind of been skirmishing, probably waiting for those attack upgrades to finish. This is a winning situation for him. Just sitting back and waiting for Cure to come into the concave of Ravagers. Why not? Throws out some more corrosive biles. +2 nearly done. 12 more Zerglings on the way. He's just mixing those in. Something in front. Another set. Corrosive biles almost hitting the camera. Throws him to the high ground. Splits off a few roaches. Another tank down. All the high ground tanks have been taken out. And Dark now with 200 supply will look to press the point home. Another set. Down goes another tank. Another one on the high ground though. +2 Carapace about to complete. Dark is pretty slowly but also surely breaking his way in. Cure does have 2-2 on the way, His army supply looking reasonable. His medevac energy is nearly dry as his units struggling to recover from their many, many stims. Dark at 70 drones with a hive on the way now. Just, Cure's trying to... I don't know what he's trying to do. He literally can't physically move all his bio units together here, so might as well send a drop out, I think, is the thought process there. Melee attack on the way. I think Dark is angling towards Ultralisks. This might be one of those games where Dark knows the position he's in, so he's gonna have fun with it. He's been doing that lately. Like, if I remind you of Dark versus Classic, where he just toyed with him. Like 22 queens, 1 ultra hero list. He's doing challenges here in the ESL SC2 Cup Finals. But if you play with your food for too long, it might bite back. Here has 115 supply of bio. Dark, right now, is the most vulnerable he'll be for the rest of the game. He doesn't have the upgrades. He doesn't have the Vipers. He doesn't have Baneling Speed or Adrenal Glands or +3 Carapace. And Cure has a bio ball that can roll around with a ton of momentum. If Cure doesn't make progress right here, right now, though, if he just sits back, he gives up the only chance he has. He might be banking on Dark being all in which case he's going to lose his money. Dark comfortably got not a 4th, but a 5th base behind his hive. More upgrades. Cure's just going to try to turtle it out, but it's not going to work. Dark has a tendency to make 200 supply for his opponents look like 100 too short. And it looks like this is going to be one of those games where Cure will nearly max out and then Dark will laugh at him. But that is 3 medevacs with upgraded bio. Alright. There are no infestors, but there are Vipers on the field. Lings and Banes. Banes rolling in. Cure making his way back. Vipers looking to intercept. Parasitic Bomb is available. Throws it out there. 2 of the medevacs. At that point, doesn't even matter if you split. The queens are waiting! Oh, down goes 1. The rest of the army for Cure is angling towards the south. Siege tanks. He's maxed out. In fact, Cure's army supply is 144 to 126. Here comes Dark. Where are the Vipers? The sheer bio that's been amassed here. That's 196 supply for the People's Terran. And he's pressing the issue. Dark does not have a great army to respond to it. How many Vipers? Only 3. It can't be everywhere at once. The Ravagerling Bane. Dark has money in the bank, but you gotta be careful if you lose too much production. If the Terran army is between your hatcheries, you can't refill it. The siege tank spread. The methodical... If nothing else, Cure is a patient player. He has no ghosts, but he's not up against Ultras, Broodlords, Lurkers. He's up against Ravagerling Bane with a few Vipers. That is manageable. Here come the Vipers. Yanks a tank over the top. Opens things up. 3-3 is on the way. For both sides, well, +3 Carapace is now already completed. For Dark. But Cure has his 3-3 infantry weapons and upgrades, but they're not there yet. Blinding Cloud forces some of the units forward before Cure micros back. Looking for more Blinding Clouds. Gets them on the tanks. Pretty much entirely removed from the fight. The Banelings are rolling in. Completely off a creep. But Cure is fully routed in this fight. He angles to the north, though. The Queens, no! Brenda! Oh, slaughtered! A King Henry of Queens will go down. And wait a second, Dark refills with 60 more Zerglings, a dozen Banelings. 3-3 about to complete for Cure, though. Dark, it's dangerous here. If you're going to let your opponent sit back, usually you want to go for the spellcasters, infestors, vipers. Okay, you got vipers, 2 or 3 of them, but it's not enough to really turn the tides here. And suddenly Cure is looking good again. He's got a 4th base. He's working on a 5th. As Dark made a critical mistake. Or is he letting Cure back in the game in order to break his spirit when he finally crushes him yet again? You know? Oh, that's a lot of medevacs. A quarter parasitic bomb away from death. Oh my god, Cure. Oh no, the parabombs. He quarantines the medevac, still gonna lose so many of them. And he brings another one back home and kills 2 more. The medevac count is down to 6. I don't know how many he's lost. Banelings rolling in the Marauders. Marines gunning down drones, though. I don't know why the drones are here. Once again, Orbital dies to Banelings. Massacre, carnage, butchery on both sides of the map. And Dark comes out, I guess, slightly ahead, but not nearly decisively so. 13 medevacs have died so far. The Vipers are still alive. He has lost none of them. Very hard to kill those Vipers with just Marines here. Widowmine's attempted. A spray and pray of Corrosive Bow goes out. Thing is, on low economies, well, most of the time, Terran has the advantage with the power of mules and the efficiency of Marines, medevacs, and Marauders. But here we go, fighting again. 3-3 both sides. Cure and Dark battling it out. But Dark's bank is gone. He was not able to remax out. He's throwing some infestors into the mix here. Cure has lifted his main base over towards the 4th. His natural... Wait, whoa. He's lifted his main and his natural. What in the... Well, his 3rd died, I think. But so he actually only has 2 orbitals. This is a bit of a... It might look good at a glance here, but then you realize that Cure's economy is a shoestring budget at best. Dark, of course, though, losing drones and hatcheries is certainly not going to help. Down to 4 medevacs now. The infestors. Now Dark ain't playing around anymore. Cure has a supply advantage, though. Dark. Well, there's a reason Roach Ravager is not usually considered an endgame composition. It's because the efficiency of just basic Terran is usually more than enough to compete with it. Even Dark struggling here. Oh, Fungal goes out. Adds to the damage on the medevacs. And they'll both go down. More infestors. Pops them out. Throws the Fungals to the back line. Looking for more. Parasitic Bomb. Roach Ravager. Without the medevacs, though, gonna be a lot easier. Fungals on both sides. Corrosive Biles thrown out across the board, and suddenly Cure supply plummets as the infestors come out and the army melts away. Cure underestimated Dark's power. Finally, the infestors pop out of the ground to save the day. And it was close there. You know what? Cure making Dark work for it. There were a few moments, like, the infestors kind of required with the Roach Ravager composition. And Cure just was not ready. That additional bit of damage and crowd control was enough. And now Cure once again has to scramble. He sends out medevacs, sends out Marines, trying to keep Dark busy so he can build up back at home. But this is where that lack of economy should really hurt him. Well, it's kind of hard, like, Dark has not been... He's about to get his hatcheries back up and running, though. He's retaking okay, it's hard to count, but 4, 5, he's got 2 to 3 mining bases now. Whereas Cure also has 2 to 3 mining bases. But that's because he lifted his orbitals. He doesn't have the mules you'd usually have. I guess he has the SCV count. Dark does need to do something about it. What's over here? He's got... Oh, Zerglings burrowed. Just threw them out there. I don't know if he meant to burrow all of them. This orbital, Zerglings. We'll find it. Oh, the Changelings are there. Scouting that there's nothing. Oh, no cancel on the command center. quite meaningful at this stage. Burrowing Lings. Not again. Are we doing this again? These two. Feel like this is like Cure is Batman and Dark is the Joker. All right. Sometimes he does things, if only, to make Batman angry. Why did you burrow a dozen Lings? Why is this game still going? Dark select. He sees the Ghost Academy building. That'll inspire an attack. He can't have that. The ghost might actually counter the infestors. I got the burrowed Ling. Dark is maxed out. How do we keep doing this? They just keep rebuilding from near scratch. On the ashes of the previous economy. Just ridiculous. Infestors, Ravagers. Unburrows the Lings, and then uses the select the army hotkey, I think, and accidentally drags them back. Oh my god. More Zerglings. Lurker Den is on the way for Dark. The Bio Army. Blinding Cloud looking good. Still a lot of energy. Oh, Parasitic Bomb gets the wrong... Oh, he's all over the place. It's a disaster. He pulls in. I'm gonna get over here. Knocks him down, and with that, Dark just sweeps the field on both fronts. God, another heartbreaking match for Cure. After working that hard, getting that far, in the end, it just doesn't even matter. Oh my god. Cure, he fought so hard just to get back into it. But at the end of the day, Dark wasn't having it. It felt like Dark wanted to toy with them. But then Cure was no longer someone to be trifled with. And I think the moment that Dark started building Infestors was when he was starting to take Cure seriously again. The Infestors clearly making the difference in that match against the ghostless Bio Army. And Dark now heads to match point. So does Cure, but it's not as fun for him. That's kind of how these things work. Alright. In the bottom right, the final boss in the finals. It's Dark. In the top left, we have the People's Terran. It's Cure. Playing the most relatable Terran style. A whole lot of bio, some pretty cool medevac micro, building up a strong army, and then dying to infestors. These two, like, Dark can't seem to finish Cure off. There's just too many units to break through. So we go to these chaotic situations. But Dark still manages to pull the infestors out and take the game. I'm not sure how he controls it. Maybe we need to do another, like, closer look. But it's Dark's Ravager control. It's kind of, like, the infestors are great, obviously. But he gets so much more done with his Ravagers than anyone else. It's a weird place, because Ravagers are a very hard to use well unit, for sure. The difference between the floor and ceiling on the skill there is quite dramatic. And again, I think another game that was defined by the Ravagers getting more than enough done in order to tilt it in Dark's favor. Even when, well, especially when combined. Remember when Fungal could stun? And then you kind of just wombo comboed the Fungal into Corrosive Bile? Now they can kind of try to waddle their way out of it, because fungal is only like a slow as opposed to a stun. No Creepers, by the way. No Creepers this time. I don't know how much that has to do with the fact that this is one of the maps where you can wall off, well, the natural is a ramp on Ancient Cistern, and Grusvin are no ramp to the natural, which is just kind of inherently harder to defend. So going for the 3-per build on those maps gives you kind of that built-in defense of already having 2 barracks at your front wall. I do believe that factors in, though I'm not sure it is the major factor in deciding whether or not to go for it. Ah, yes, the Ewoks. Hoping for more Marines. I mean, the Moopies here. The legally distinct Ewoks have been celebrating many Marine deaths after they've floated over these locations. There's been no shortage of Marines dead here on Babylon. My god, that Reaper just watching the grenade. That Roach Warren is remarkably quick. We'll see how many more drones he builds. So Dark, yeah, he has seen. The Overlord always seems to come in at the right timing. He knows. A Banshee on the way. This is a much more, this is the safest opener. You can go with 3cc, I think, with the Cloak Banshee. Though quite committed. Banshees aren't cheap, especially with the Cloak upgrade. Though there's nothing really that Zerg can do offensively against it. Even if you bring the Queens. I wouldn't put it past Dark to somehow bring a Spore Crawler, but without a lair, there is no mobile detection. There's 9 roaches on the way right now, but he's building a drone behind. So this is... he's just throwing them out there. Okay. It's essentially an advertisement from the Roach Company. Drop a few roaches in your house, be like, oh, you got a roach problem. Got to deal with that. Kira spends the next several minutes dealing with it, only to realize that they didn't come from the house at all in the first place. Somebody call for an exterminator. But the Banshee... well, also the roaches in case of Hellbat. Break in case of Hellbat. Cure, definitely one of the more Hellbat-centric players. I already made the Batman comparison. Hellbatman is not too far off. But otherwise, just struggling for more things to kind of fill time until we see more about the build. Convoluted analogies. Derailed trains of thought. Meta commentary, what have you. You've heard it all before. But hopefully at this point, you're just kind of essentially zoning out as I go over the generic commentary for the early mid-game when nobody's really going to lose any units for 2 or 3 more minutes because they're both sitting there macroing up, building workers, upgrades, you know, all that. So eventually I'll just come back around to commentating the production tab, where if you look, you'll find +1/+1 on the way for Cure. As Dark get his Evo chambers a little bit later on. He's already got Roach speed, 66 drones, full 3-bay saturation. But the fact those Evo chambers are relatively late. Well, he did. He's rushing Infestation Pit. He got the Infestation Pit even before he's getting upgrades, so it's a hive rush? But for what? Lurkers? Ah, there's a Hydrodome. I'm thinking, like, it's not Ultras. It's not Ultras. It's not Swarm Host. It's unlikely to be for, like, Vipers at this stage. It looks like we're... oh my god, he ran out of energy. And Brenda catches him off the creep. Hellion's not able to get much here. But just... okay, well... like 3 drones. I guess we don't have the kill counter this time around. Players didn't make the game with the correct mod. These pro gamers. So yes, lurkers. and a lurker rush. This is about the quickest you can... I think this is the quickest, still macro-oriented builds you could get lurker. He's gonna have a hive at less than 8 minutes. Or close. That's disgusting. Like, Cure forgot combat shield. Cure! Cure! The people's Terran. Cure! Combat shield. Combat shield, Cure. The amount of Terrans, like, by league, I feel like it's a gradient where Bronze Leaguers remember combat shield 95% of the time. 98. Then everyone who is, like, going up as a bell curve, up to like 40% of Diamond players forget combat shield and then complain about Banelings. And then try to justify, like, well, Widow Mines are not as bad as Banelings, because Banelings kill more of my units. It's like, because you're Terran, bro. But, except they forgot, Cure forgot combat shield. Again, and he's going up against a lurker range rush. This is, as they say, a disaster. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh my. Oh god. Lurkers don't one-shot. I believe that's gonna be a two-shot there. Like an easy two-shot. I'm not sure the math. I'm not here to do math. I'm here to commentate. But...
the numbers don't lie! And
oh,
they
it's bad.
spell disaster for you.
Oh, Dark is gonna max out. He's gonna attack. And if he attacks before combat shield, those Marines... I mean, just in general, not just for the lurkers, everything. 10 HP across the board. He noticed. Okay, he noticed. Oh, I'm sure he gave a shake of the head. But that's a big one. All right, well. Now, there's always a chance that nothing, like, I'm sure Cure's gonna try to avoid confrontation. The scan. He spots the lurkers. There was a Ghost Academy already. I believe he's researching Ghost Cloak right now. But, yeah, Dark. Well, he yanks in the tanks. Oh my, and he has Infestors. Wow. Dismantles the front line there. That isn't critical. Oh, Fungal just doesn't even need detection. Dark ain't messing around anymore. This is, like, after that last game, Dark's like, no, that's enough of that. This game, instead, he's rushed on Lurkers with Infestors and Vipers. This is the most Dark army composition. Two-two is on the way. Combat shield is done now. Just Infestor, Roach, Ling. The upgrades are not enough here. He does need the Lurkers. He just finished up 10 more Lurkers. Cure's army is going to be very strong without the Lurkers behind it. There's not even any Banelings here. I don't believe he doesn't have a Baneling nest, so that makes it difficult to have Banelings. Ghosts on the way. Lurkers starting to slice their way through. There's just so many of them. The tanks are not sieged. Oh my god, he's in range of the Lurker. Not, well, doesn't quite get it, but that's just so many Lurkers. He doesn't have the Ghost count. He doesn't have the tank count. The Lurkers are just jammed in between here. Another tank gonna be taken out. Ah, well, the snipes. It's a tough time. Cure is holding on for now. He needs the Ghost. It is not optional here. 2-2 now done for Dark. Dropping those rocks could be something. Another tank. He's just scrambling forward. The Ghost trying to find an angle. They do have Cloak, but there is an Overseer as well. He's got to be careful. Lurkers in the third. Dark is just eviscerating him right now. Gutting him piece by piece. SCV by SCV. Dark has taken no damage at home. He's taken no counter fight. His economy is still at 100%. His economy is everywhere he wants it to be to maintain this army composition. He's got 5 bases. He's got plenty of gas. He's got 84 drones. Cure has a lot of command centers. He can recover if he can break out of this painful contain. But that's a big if. Dark is taking his sweet time actually getting to any of the meaningful bases. Oh, God. A big slice. The planetary, though, a small flank, still enough to draw some of the fire. Cure lines up some snipes, gets some ghosts from the high ground, breaks his way through the lurkers, loses a lot of the ghosts, but actually makes his way out. Cure breaks out. I didn't think he'd do it. He said it couldn't be done. No, did not say that. Just said it was difficult. The snipes lined up and the lurkers knocked out. Dark has actually lost 22 lurkers. Wow. Quite a costly endeavor. And he doesn't break any of the bases on the left side of the map. He's now going to re-angle towards where the orbitals are, but Cure has the economy with the mules to fall back on. In fact, Cure has 91 SCVs, which is a bit much, but... Another attack, though. Bait and switch. Dark slices through the planetary. He lays the pressure off the left, goes to the right, and then, right as a Cure looks that direction, he comes in swinging again. Knocks out a planetary. Looking for more. The Ghost trying to line up the defenses. Another tank is taken out. The Lurker is really not that close for now. From the high ground, gets an Infester. The Ghost, more Lurkers, though, closing in. Slicing through the SCVs. Those Lurker spines. He's gonna need more than a chiropractor after this one. Cure. It feels like Cure is being broken, but his supply, yet again, as always, the macro Terran. He seems to always have at least enough army supply to fall back on. Now a baneling nest for Dark. Cure stubbornly refusing to crumble. He manages to weather the attacks, and, well, he didn't start 3-3 yet. But he has the ghosts. He has the tanks. He has enough orbitals and SCVs to fall back on. He's not dead. And Dark takes offense to that. +3, ranged attack now on the way. Dark, still pressing the issue. His income he's been at a significant advantage for several minutes now, but Cure has held on. Another Lurker. Ooh, those ghosts. Where are the medevacs? Cure has the same thought, boosts the medevacs over, but the Lurkers are down the center. Looking for the heart. Oh, beautiful fungal! Busting through the ghosts. And suddenly, oh, so many of their number. More ghosts. Oh, and a great flank. Still breaking through. Only 2 Lurkers left. It's still a costly fight for both sides. More Zerglings coming in. No 3-3 for Cure, but he has enough medevacs to keep it together for now. The Infestors taken out. He has 4 red ghosts inside that medevac. Please heal your ghost, Cure. Please. Another Lurker. But Cure holds. The People's Terran keeps it together as Dark is not able to break through. The tenacity. Oh, please, Cure. Oh my God. Cure must always do one thing that reminds you of your ladder games every 5 minutes. Otherwise, he loses his title of the People's Terran. Those ghosts have no HP. If he loses that medevac, oh my God. He drops them out, they die immediately. Then he notices, but then he loses ghosts on the other side. Cure! Ah! Oh, it's so stressful. The concave is good, though. Despite the amount of ghosts caught in an awkward position, Dark feels like he can jump on this army, but it's a tough nut to crack. The medevac's nearly out of energy. Baneling speed on the way. Oh my God. 17 ghosts down. 48 Lurkers? Are you insane? We know the answer to that question. Dark just keeps building them. He's just trickling lurkers in. Occasionally he floods them, but he's got 5, 6 lurkers on the field. He always seems to be building 1 or 2 more as he has the gas. Some banelings finally being added in, but Cure has finally held the line. He didn't get 3-3 for his bio, including his ghost, which is, I think, a pretty significant oversight. A lot of oversight on the upgrades this game between the combat shield and the 3-3. Very impactful ones as well, but here we go again. The army supply about even. Hydra's coming in from the north, but 3 siege tanks to greet them. And the lurkers dunked into the center, but he actually took down the rocks and limited the angles. But that means the liberators have an opportunity to siege up, and he drives the lurkers back yet again. The third base is being ransacked right now by Zerglings, though. The Hydras take out 1 orbital, going for a second. Behind it, there are even more lurkers, slicing through the bio army. Splits, doesn't really have the HP to stim, takes out some more. Cure holds, but at what cost? There's a dozen medevacs at the moment. And he's adding more. Dark with 4 more lurkers in production, but tanks being overrun by Zerglings as there's no bio to cover them. An exhausting game yet again. How does this keep happening? Dark does seem to be regaining an advantage. More lurkers! A scan slices through some Marines, but finishes off the rest. 60 lurkers dead. He's still got half a dozen on the field. Dark still nearly maxed. Another fight. The army is mostly ghosts. He's got 11 ghosts at this point. Only a half dozen bio units. Yeah, 6 Marines, 6 Marauders. And they're being whittled down to the north. The remaining conventional bio, he tries to yanks it a ghost. Never say die, says Ghost as it dies. Contradicting multiple parts of that statement. Another one. But he gets the snipe on the fungal. Catches 1 ghost, makes it very uncomfortable. Cure just can't seem to maintain the northern flank. He cannot hold. To borrow from the Protoss. Dark is just gonna keep building lurkers. He won't stop. Oh my. Even more. It doesn't end. Lurkers dunk down. The army supplies are still kind of close to even here. The ghosts lining up snipes on the lurkers. This will open up the map yet again, though. The snipes hit everything. Clearing it up. Zerglings in the natural. Another set of units. More lurkers will die. Marauder dueling with a lurker. Lurker wins this time. There's still Zerglings in the natural here. Are there any more scans? Somehow Cure's down to 4 orbitals, and at least one of them is lifted. He has the scan. Army supply still close to even. Beautiful fungal, but there's nothing to follow it up. SCVs... What? Okay. SCVs are mining from the base of Dark. He's lost 70 lurkers. Wombo combo, parasitic bomb. I think he's got him. Cure once again held the line. But eventually he was erased by Dark. What an exhaustive series. With Dark coming out ahead. Oh, you gotta feel for Cure. Any of those games, he was maybe not a step away from turning it around. But it wasn't too far. He was in the room. But Dark just... It feels like Dark is someone who traps you in a room, opens the door. When you look around to see if you can escape, he pops up behind you and strangles you. But that, I mean, par for the course with the final boss here. 3-0 but an arduous, intense, and exhaustive 3-0 indeed. Every game over 20 minutes long. Well, hopefully, if you enjoyed, hopefully I made your day a little bit better. If you have the means and motivation, make sure to check out YouTube membership and or Patreon. Honestly, probably prefer Patreon, but you get a cool little badge on YouTube membership. So, otherwise, thank you for watching, Jimmy. 1,113 likes, and cast another one. But see you next time. Good luck, have fun, stay chill.